Welcome to Subramani. Uh, Last week, a friend of mine was talking about safe withdrawal rates, and he asked me what is a safe withdrawal rate and how much money does one require for retirement. So I said the safe withdrawal rate, we don't have enough data about India, but in the US it is about 4% because interest rates are lower and equity returns may be different, so it's about 4% at best in the US. So there is argument now for somebody saying even 3%, but I said in India maybe it's a little safer to even assume something like 5.5 to 6%. So he was amused and he said, see, there is a problem with the way you think. He's a very young person, he must be very young means comparatively, so he must be about 40. And he was told by one of the pundits who is a social media star that don't go by what the older people tell you. 3%, 4% is in US. In India, it is safe to assume that you can withdraw anything between 7 to 9%. Yeah, hold your breath. 7 to 9%. Because in India, the rates of return that you will get is about 12% in equities. And maybe sometimes even 14-15%. And he said if you invest largely in small cap funds, just look at the history, look at the 10-year history, forget 1 year or 2 year history, look at the 10-year history, you will get 15%. So if you get 15%, why can't you withdraw 9% or at least 7%? Because you leave the balance for inflation, because later on, maybe if inflation is higher, you want to leave little more cushion. And he wanted to know what is wrong with this. I had no intentions of spoiling my party, and I said that seems to be a safe number, I think so, maybe you should consider. I said, is he your consultant? He said yes, he is my consultant and he's a big guy. And I said I have heard about him, I have not met him but I have heard about him, and he suggested 7 to 9% return. Now, is 7 to 9% wrong? Well, look at it this way. Historically, I can provide data to say that 7 to 9% would have been a very safe way to withdraw over the last 30 years from your equity mutual fund. In fact, on my blog, which I used to write earlier, one of the new pundits used to come and say that you will get at least 18% return in equities, and if I can't get 18%, why should I be an advisor? I do not know whether he is still an advisor. I do not know whether his clients are still getting 18%. Now, what is right and what is wrong about this? I can use past data to show you how a 12% withdrawal would have been perfectly all right in a particular fund. And this social media genius was using a fund house dividend policy and saying, look, this company, this fund has been paying 1% dividend per month, so it must be right, something that the fund manager has thought is sustainable, so they are able to withdraw 12%. So if they can withdraw 12%, why can't you withdraw 7 to 9%? Good logic, not completely wrong on the basis of past data. But what are the assumptions here? The first assumption is all your money is put into this particular fund, which has maybe 75-80% in equity and 20% in debt, right? It's like an aggressive equity fund, but it used to be called balanced fund, or maybe some other name. But yeah, so this is one assumption, that all your money is only in that fund. Whatever is your corpus is in that fund. That's why the percentage that you're withdrawing is a percentage of the corpus, not of your equity fund, but which means if you have 1 crore, so this guy's requirement is obviously now only maybe 2 crores for retirement, because it's on 2 crores, if he gets 15%, that's 30 lakhs, assuming his expenses are 10 lakhs, that should take care of inflation, right? So first, right, all the money is in one large, one balanced fund, or let's call it an aggressive hybrid fund, 80% in equity and 20% in debt. All the money is obviously coming in terms of capital gains, so it's going to be a systematic withdrawal plan. and fund performance will always be 12%, which means there is no standard deviation. There is going to be no deviation. It's going to be 12% flat, like a PPF, which would be about say 7% flat. I'm assuming sometimes it will be 7.15, sometimes 7.5, but you just ignore that, you assume 7%. So this is an equity fund which will perform like that. This fund will almost always outperform the large cap funds, which will give about 12%. So this will give about 15%. You withdraw about 9%, and you leave 6% for, so that tomorrow when inflation is higher, you are able to withdraw more. And which means some of the money you withdraw only that much as an SWP which you need. Suppose you need only 6%, you withdraw only 6%, but if you need 9%, you can withdraw 9%, right? Another big mistake, another assumption, I wouldn't even call it a mistake, because I don't think I'm going to influence anybody by making videos. It's up to you to talk to all these experts and come to your own conclusion. I'm just rebutting some of the things which he has said. If there is a sequence of return risk, right? I've spoken about this separately. I've made a video on this. If you are withdrawing a big amount in a year when the returns are not so good, what happens when the returns are low and you withdraw? Then you are eating into your corpus. Now this may not matter when the corpus is huge, but when you are aggressively telling a person that all you need is about 2 crores for retirement because you're going to withdraw 9%, 18 lakhs, you need only 6-7 lakhs, so you will withdraw less later on. So inflation is also factored in for a 60-year-old having 2 crores with which to retire, putting the whole 2 crores in a aggressive hybrid fund. So then again, there is no sequence of return risk, because whatever be the rate of return, you will get 12 to 15% or maybe 16%. So therefore you will be able to withdraw 9% again, right? So it's assuming markets will be steady permanently, last 9 years, 8 years, whatever has happened, same thing will happen. So what happened between say 1996 and 2002 will not get repeated. There will be no fall in the market, that this fund will continue to perform, or rather continue to outperform. Maybe you'll put some, or maybe you'll put all the money in a small cap fund and not even in this hybrid fund, aggressive hybrid fund. I have no clue what he is going to do, right? And the problem is today, this kind of noise is so high that chances are that these people will prevail, and there will be youngsters who think, oh, I need just 2 crores for retirement and 3 crores for retirement, and I am sitting here telling a 35-year-old you will require 10 crores, 12 crores, 15 crores, bucket theory, sequence of return risk, volatility in the market, why you should not withdraw from an equity fund but from a debt fund, why low volatility is useful for withdrawal but high volatility is needed for growth. So making this combination, so I completely felt wasted. It's your call. I'm not giving any advice. This is not an advisory channel. So it is for you to take a call as to how much you want to invest and how much you want, whether to use the bucket theory, or there are enough people saying that you can withdraw 10%, then be my guest. I have no problem. If you think you don't need asset allocation, if you think you can put all your money in one fund, if you think that the small cap will always outperform the large cap, right? So if you can make all these assumptions, perfectly all right. Actually, it might work for you. It will not work for me, because I'm pretty stressed out about creating such a portfolio and say, okay, withdraw 9% and for the rest of your life you're done. I don't think I will be able to ever do that. That's my limitation, not social media's limitation. Thank you.